I've been trying to keep the winter blues at bay this year by sewing for spring. It's funny. In some ways, it feels as if spring is so far away, and in other ways, there is so much to do before spring arrives, I feel like it's approaching too soon. I decided to make a list of things I wanted to sew for and before spring. It's been helping me consume less since I'm busy sewing things and they take a while to make. I've also been challenging myself to thrift the fabrics instead of purchasing, since fabric can be expensive, and since I'm still newish to sewing, it leaves room for the inevitable errors. These green linen tablecloths I thrifted for $6 and had to be creative to fit the pattern on them. I've been really enjoying learning new sewing techniques and getting back into a more creative hobby. I have lots of summer hobbies that keep me entertained and tend to be mostly outdoor activities, which keep me longing for summer. I'm hoping to dive into more cozy hobbies like sewing for next winter to keep me thriving year-round. One of the things I like most about sewing is that it keeps me busy for hours and I don't need another source of entertainment. I often find myself sewing in silence. No music, no TV, no videos talking in the background, just pure concentration for what's in front of me. It's pure bliss. I have found myself rushing my sewing projects, and I have to remind myself that hobbies don't have deadlines, which is one of the reasons why I made my sew list small for spring, so I don't have to rush and I can enjoy the act of creating. I'm not one to follow rules, which is why I suck at baking, but luckily sewing is so much more forgiving. I can use patterns as a base and then easily add my own flair, accent, or technique to achieve a wearable item. And just like that, I can cross green romantic top off of my sewing list. So I have finished sewing my top, and this is what it looks like. So just to talk to you through some of the details, from my last dress, I learned how to do the channels and how to give it like a nice gather. So I ended up adding this little line at the front that has a tie. And in the original pattern that I bought, it just has it so that you tie it, but not necessarily that it doesn't have a channel that goes to the neckline, if that makes sense. So I just added that from what I learned from my last sewing project. I also learned some new techniques with this. I learned the burrito method with the straps, and that's what I did here. It gives it a really professional looking finish, which I really like. Also, when I saw these placemats at the thrift store, I immediately thought about my Pinterest board and how there was this green kind of flowy top. I didn't do exactly like how it is on my Pinterest board. I always just kind of use my Pinterest board as inspiration, and then I go based off of 1, my sewing skill level, and then 2, just what's in my head. And in my head was more of a tie top kind of situation for a green top in my wardrobe. So super excited to wear this during spring. I feel like this is just going to be a really good spring staple piece. Also, another thing with this top, I do feel like the tie tops are very trendy right now, and I'm really glad that I made it rather than buying it, just in case for some reason in a year or two, if I don't really fancy this style anymore, I feel a little less guilty about it. So I went to the thrift store yesterday and it was actually pretty good. I got this. This was 99 cents. Oh, there's 2 of them. Okay. I thought this was one continuous thing. I'm not exactly sure what these are. If you guys know, please let me know in the comments below, because I've never seen 2 pieces like this. I feel like it's for something, but I have no idea what these are for. And I was thinking of using it as a trim, which I still can. I just have to figure out on what piece it's going to be used for. But I thought these would be really cute as trim on the bottom of a dress or a top, or even as like a sleeve accent. I think that could be pretty cute. And it didn't have a tag on it, and sometimes when they don't have a tag, they won't sell it to you, but they sold it to me for 99 cents for these 2 pieces, so I thought that that was a great deal. I'm excited to see what I can end up doing with this. And then the last thing that I got was this huge, I don't know if it's a curtain or a bed sheet, but it has this beautiful embroidery at the bottom. This is all 100% cotton. I need a lot of white, either cotton or linen, and that's what I've been looking for. For sure, what I'm going to use this for is a romantic white top that's on my sew list, and I feel like that is going to be worn so much. So that's what I want to do. I want to do a romantic top. So price-wise, this ended up being $2.92, but it was half off, so I ended up spending $1.48 for that whole thing of fabric. There is a stain on here somewhere, which, here it is. There's a stain on here, but I'm going to work around that, and I'm just going to use the rest of this fabric. I actually haven't opened it up, so I don't know if there are any more stains. That's the only downside with thrift stores, is that you can't necessarily open up your fabric all the way. It's really only that little small mark. I've been trying to romanticize my sewing experience and, well, life in general. Instead of just picking a pattern and sewing, this time I wanted to put more thought into my creation. I decided to sketch out a few different ideas whilst drawing inspiration from my Pinterest board. I sketched silhouettes and combined different elements until I settled on a design. I decided to create a white, ruffly, romantic baby doll top. After the fabric was freshly washed and dried, it was time to start sewing. The pattern I was using was for a dress, and I wanted to use just the top part, so I had to measure how long I wanted the top, and since the fabric I was using already had a finished embroidery hem, it was important to not mess this step up. And if your cat's not laid out on whatever you're trying to accomplish, do you even own a cat? After cutting and pinning everything into place, it was time to start sewing. After a few curses to the wind and many hours later, here is what I ended up with. The white romantic top is finally finished. I just have ruffled detailing on the straps. I have a channel here so that I can have a bow detail at the front, and then the rest is just a very flowy baby doll top. I'm so excited with how it came out. It came out exactly how I wanted to. I'm actually already working on my next sewing project behind me. I have all the pieces laid out. I just need to start sewing it. I'm making some ruffly white shorts. I'm thinking it's going to be for a PJ set. I have so much fabric left over from this top, so I'm thinking of making a PJ set with the remainder of it, and I might be able to make something else with it as well. I don't know. I'll have to see how much I have left after I finish the PJ set. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this sewing journey as I prep for spring. Leave me a comment down below on what you guys are doing to prep for spring. Don't forget to like this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!